my research, the process that I've come up with is I've taken from bits and pieces and mostly from the US, because nobody in Canada has the guts to speak out. So I kind of bit and pieced information that I'd found down there and modified it for Canadian side. So the very first step you do is you copyright. If you're not comfortable with copyright, do the trademark, or you can do a right of claim. But I prefer using the government sites because then it's registered, because they're the ones that incorporated us. They can take us out. Now, the next step after you've done your copyright is, while you're doing all this, you can also order from Vital Statistics, get a copy of your registration of live birth. This is not the long form birth certificate. It is the one that your parents hand wrote and filled out in the hospital. If you get a certified copy from Vital Statistics and it is the long form birth certificate, that is not what you want. Now, I've noticed one lady come to me yesterday at work there, and she showed me her copy, and it was typed, but her mother had signed it. So I'm assuming in her age group, the hospitals typed it out with the information and then the parent signed it. That is okay. It says right on it, registration of live birth. But make sure when you order them, they are stamped on the back that they are certified true copies.
Excellent, okay.
Then you will do up a security agreement between you and the straw man. This lays out all of the conditions, what you own. You list absolutely every asset possible and then some, like your bank accounts, your DNA, your fingerprints, your handprints, skin tissue samples, vehicles, property, absolutely everything you can think of is what you list on your security agreement. Mine is 10 pages long. It's very detailed, and these security agreements can be amended. You can add stuff, take out, just put on it amended, and then a date.
This is your copy right here, right, Karen?
That's mine, yeah. Now you'll notice under security agreement, there's a number SPBO-110724-SA. That is a number that you create. I designed mine with Susan Paulette Brierley /Orange, because that's my maiden name. Birth date, the 11th of July. And then I put in the date that I created this document, /SA for security agreement. Now you'll use that number on your hold harmless indemnity agreement, but at the end, instead of SA, you'll put HHIA. I put a lot of definitions in there because when you're reading the document, it's in a very legal form. And that a lot of people don't know what you're talking about. So just put definitions in there. I've set this up so people can use this in Word. They can change anything they want. But if you do use the same agreement, make sure you take out all of my information and put yours in there. Now, I drafted this one in 2013. So, of course, you will change the date that you draft it and everything.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, this template, we'll go through.
Yep. There's a template, so you can go in and change everything. I had mine notarized or commissioned. But if you don't want to use a commissioner or a notary, just make room at the bottom for 2 signatures minimum. You can go 2 to 3 signatures of witnesses, and then it's very legal.
Okay, that's awesome. I think, yeah, I think this will be very straightforward with most of the people we work with.
Yeah,
They can fill this out, and then we can help others and get more people realizing they have the true power, their authority, right? Let's go through real quick so people understand this long one here. Okay, and then I'm gonna. So that's the first thing you do. Well, the third thing, really.
yeah. And then you will do the hold harmless indemnity agreement. That is an agreement between you and the debtor, the straw man, that you are not held accountable for anything that the straw man does. So if the government wants to use the straw man, you're not responsible for that.
So which one's that? That's the
Hold harmless indemnity. It'd be the one after this one.
HHI signed.
Yep, HHIA.
Okay, I want to make sure. There we go. It's up on the screen now. I had them all laid. I had them all laid out there.
Yeah. I tried to send them to you in order, so. Okay, my end is still showing the security agreement.
Oh, I'm gonna stop screen share for a sec and start again. Yeah, that's one thing about screen share is it does this to us, eh?
Yeah.
That's the one there you want it, right?
Yeah. Now you'll notice under the hold harmless and indemnity agreement, there is the same number, but as I said, we put HHIA in there. This is a private between the parties, which so is the security agreement. That's one you do not have to share with anybody. I know the PPSA in Ontario was asking this lady to send them her security agreement. And she told them, no, that's a private agreement. It's none of your business.
Okay.
And it's a shorter document. There we have more definitions. Now, a lot of the commissioners and notaries are being told not to sign these kind of documents. But when I had this one done again in 2013, the commissioner asked me, he said, what are these documents? And I said, they're to prevent identity theft. He goes, oh, cool. Because that's basically what they are.
Oh. Okay, great.
So again, if you can't find somebody or know somebody that will sign it and stamp it, go with 2 to 3 witnesses again.
Okay. That one's pretty well straightforward. We can look at that one, read over it, and we can read that copy and then move forward.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, what's the next step?
Okay, I'm just pulling up some stuff here to make sure I got everything. Okay, I did send you a copy of the workbook too, so that'll help a lot of step-by-step process. Okay, the next one you're going to do is make sure you do up a power of attorney where you have authorization to sign and make decisions for the straw man. That is, I sent you a copy of that too. That's just basic. You can change that at any time, suiting the individual or the corporation that you're sending it to. Now, you'll want it to be different for government agencies than, say, a corporation or a credit card company or anything. The first part will always stay the same, but the second paragraph will change a bit. And when you do this up, leave a space so that when you get your PPSA, you can put in party code number, because that will be on your form. You list your security agreement and your hold harmlessly. And you don't have to list everybody, but you can list some of the government agencies that you've sent this to. All your documents.
Okay.
But this is a really good way to, then you can just word it however you want. Everybody's situation is going to be a little different. But I made sure I put in there a legal entity for use in commerce. And that is my live birth number, 018918. And then my birth certificate registration number is the 56-08. They're two different numbers. They're laid out differently. The last 6 digits of the birth certificate is the same as the live birth number. If you scroll up, yeah, right there. See, the live birth for use in commerce is 018918-1956. That is my live birth certificate number. The birth or live birth record. The birth certificate number that they created, the STRAWMAN, has 018918. See, the 6 digits are the same. They just lay it out differently.
Okay.
And when I found my QSIP, right on it, it says Susan Paulette Orange, AB for Alberta, and BC for birth certificate. And then it gives the 018918-1956 number. That is proving, and I'm traded under Fidelity Canada Trust Securities.
So did you send this letter to them too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Then they can't come back and say you're full of crap, right? This way, I've proven it. I've claimed that they're trading, they've stolen, they've created identity theft plus fraud by trading that number on the stock market. They can't fight it. It's right there.
Excellent.
And that's what I submitted when I did my speeding ticket. I did up an affidavit stating all my facts. And I sent them a copy of my copyright plus the QSIP search. And it took them 2.5 months. They were probably checking on everything. And it come back saying all charges had been withdrawn. And I didn't even go to court. I stayed out of the courtroom. So if you can stay out of a courtroom, that is the best way to be. Because pardon me?
We agree with that one.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next is declaration of political status. You can actually do that one up at any point. This one is just notifying everybody you send it to that you have taken back your birthright. That you are not a corporation, you are not a debtor, rebel, combatant, foreign agent, any of that. So I just threw in some extra there. I'm an inheritor of the living and present heir to the trust, which is your Quest QV. British North American Act 1867, which did not receive royal assent, so it never was effective. Statutes Law Revision Act, paragraph 2, we all know the Queen removed the monarchy from Canada. Statute of Westminster, Canada did not confederate. And you've all probably seen Walter Clune's letter. And the Canadian Constitution 1867, which was never ratified, but if you look it up, you notice on the bottom of the second or third page, it states right there that paragraph 2 is still repealed. The organic laws of my province and country, the applicable unrevised Canadian statutes at large as they pertain to the general populace and the military law of peace. So yes, I just told them flat out, I am not part of this. This one here again, you can have notarized or you can have witnessed.
Okay, that's excellent. Does anybody have any questions on this declaration? Ken or Sparrow?
No, the only thing I'm noticing is on some documents, Susan, you have a wet signature in red ink. And then on this document, you have used red ink as well.
Yeah, the red ink, I've never used the wet signature because I don't want my thumbprint out for the world to see. That is part of my security agreement that I own that signature, that thumbprint. So you can use red ink instead of a wet signature. And that is all part of your security agreement and your hold harmless. Your security agreement gives you, you are the secured creditor, so it says right in there that you have authorization to sign for the debtor. And that's what I use is red ink.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, you got a question? Your hand's up. You have to unmute.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Susan.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. So on step 2, you said you're going to order from Vital Statistics your registration of live birth. It'll be the handwritten one. So I have mine, and there is no stamp on the back. I'll put
That's
it up.
because you probably didn't request it. You have to request it when you order it.
That it's stamped
certified.
on. Oh, but it's got the stamp. It says Vital Statistics stamp on the bottom.
Okay, yeah, that's their stamp, but I'll show you mine here. It's right on the form. You can request it be certified, a true copy.
Oh, it says at the top.
Okay. See,
It
this
says,
is what mine is like. And then they put the seal on it.
okay, mine has a certified true copy of a registration document on file with Vital Statistics Victoria, British Columbia, and then it's got their Vital Statistics stamp at the bottom, but it says certified true copy at the top.
Yeah, then it should be good if it says
Okay.
certified true copy, because that's what that is.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
there's nothing on the front. But if you notice here on mine, see, there's the number.
Yeah,
that they are using all the straw man documents are created from this.
okay.
Now you'll see Susan Paulette Orange, and then the certified copy. And I'm going to show you something else here. Here is, okay, this is my QSIP search. Now you'll see Susan Paulette Orange, birth certificate, Alberta. There's my live registration number.
Okay.
I'm traded under Fidelity Canada Fund. There's the QSIP number. There's the international security number. $907 million.
So
They do this on your social insurance number, on your Alberta healthcare number, on your driver's license number, on any court file number. They create a fund that is making money. Now, a friend of mine, he did a forensic audit on a mortgage, an original mortgage for $200. And over the years, that mortgage had been traded and bought, sold. He didn't say how many times, but to the point of $518 million. So for your mortgage, they are buying and selling it, buying and selling it. Now, they've also squashed another thing that I found out. You used to be able to go to GEMI Utility, which is GMEI Utility. And they've changed that now. And you could punch in your social insurance number or your birth certificate number, and it would pull up every business around the world that was trading, buying and selling on that number at that time. Now they're not allowing you in there. So I had saved and printed off a bunch of those copies too.
okay. So I'm going to show you my paper here. So then it isn't the certificate number. They're going to be trading the registration number.
It will be the 6-digit number with the year.
Okay, thank you for that. So that's
Yeah.
question 2. And then I had a question on, okay, that's the stamp on the back. Now, the HHHI, if it's copyrighted, if we've copyrighted the straw man, then who is responsible? Because we've said that we're not responsible for the straw man.
We took owner of it. The government still uses it. But that's what confuses a lot of people. Yes, we took ownership of the straw man, but we're not responsible if the government is still using it and does all this crap.
I see. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then what is the PPSA? What is that?
That is the personal property security agreement. That is where you register a lien.
Okay.
So they are starting to really fight us on that. I've got 3 people in Ontario that have filed, and the PPSA is just sitting on it.
Okay.
The first, they rejected it and said you could not register a name, which I know that, but the straw man is not a name. It is a corporation. So I told them to go in and put it through a business and to use the SIN number as the business number. Now they're just sitting on it and sitting on it. So then I got thinking about it. How else can we do this? So I emailed them all and I said, now draft up a public notice to put in the newspaper, list all the details of the straw man being copyrighted, that you are now the owner, the living woman. List your security agreement, your hold harmless indemnity, list that all in there and give notice that you own this. you do not allow anybody to trade or anything, and put it in the newspaper for a week. This is registering it on public notice.
So then with those documents, they wouldn't go in their entirety. They would just be put in as a
As a
PDF,
number.
as
yeah.
a number. Okay.
Yeah.
So the last question was on step 6, the declaration of political status that you send to everyone that you're living. Now on that one, so you're basically saying you're no longer lost at sea.
Yeah, you're saying that you can go to court
Mhm.
and you can tell the judge that you want to take back your birthright. You want to do a name change and take back your birthright. Or you can do up the declaration.
Okay. Thank you. Those are my questions.
Yeah, no problem. So if you want to open the workbook,
Susan, may I interject here?
yeah,
Hi, I'm so
Hi.
glad that you're on. I'm glad you're sharing this with everyone. Thank you, thank you.
you're welcome.
The common law copyright notice.
Yeah.
Are we going to discuss that?
Yeah, we can do that one. I was just going through all this. Okay, pull up the common law copyright notice.
Susan, you might
Yeah.
be interested in knowing that my certificate of live birth only has 4 numbers. That's how old I am.
Okay, well, you use what you got.
Thank you.
If that's all they give you, that's all you get to use. Okay, once you get your copyright notice back in the mail, you will do the common law copyright notice. Now, this one took me forever to do because you really have to think when you read it. In there, you're going to list, like I went in and did an amendment to mine because I've got, I have the copyright on the straw man. I have the copyright on the birth certificate, plus I have a copyright on the social insurance. So I've got 3 registration numbers there. This lays out what anybody is allowed to use, which is basically 0, unless they have your written consent. If they do not, if they still infringe on your copyright, they are liable for, you can put any number in there, but mine is $10 million per occurrence. So I just sent the CRA a $40 million invoice because I own the SIN number plus the straw man, and they were notified years ago and they're still using it. So now they've got 2 occurrences of each, keeping it on file and using it. So that is a $20 million right there. And then the social insurance number, the same. So we'll see what they say about that one. And I also sent Vital Statistics an invoice for the same thing, and for identity theft and fraud. And they have been retold to take it off of their file. But those are different documents I'll share later. Like, people got their heads full with doing this. So that's basically what the common law copyright notice. So every time you send out a copy of your copyright certificate, send out a copy of this with it.
Karen, do you have any more questions on the copyright part?
The copyright, Susan, after your birth certificate, the 328713, is that your CUSIP number? And is it not?
No, I don't give out my CUSIP number.
Okay, what is that number?
That
32.
is on the back of my birth certificate in red. Everybody used to think it was a CUSIP, but
Mhm.
it's not a CUSIP.
Okay, it's on the back.
It is
okay.
some other identification. So I included that on it.
Okay.
That's how it was copyrighted, exactly like that.
Thank you. Okay, and then a third of the way down the page, it says birth certificate, your birth certificate, and then / CUSIP 3287. So,
Yeah, it shouldn't be CUSIP, but I put it in there because we don't know for sure. Some
okay.
are saying it's a CUSIP, some aren't saying.
I'm waiting for my CUSIP number. It's Kenneth has returned it. It's in the mail. Now, should I?
Yeah, well, it'll take about 2 weeks. You guys
Yeah.
got to realize it takes a while to do this.
Yeah, he's having it sent back. It's done. Now, should I include that in the copyright notice?
Okay. Yeah. You
Oh,
can, if you
okay.
want, you can put it wherever you are, but it's not copyrighted, so you don't really need to. You would put that in your security agreement.
Yes. Okay.
Like your copyright notice is only to do with your copyrights.
Mhm.
You don't want to start putting a bunch of stuff in there that doesn't pertain to the copyright.
Of course. Okay, thank you.
Just to let you know that Kenneth also does a bunch of other stuff. He will do mortgage offsets. He will do a trust for you, your private trust. That one he quoted me, he's the cheapest, 3,500 US. Another fellow in the US quoted me 10,000 US. And then that guy that's running around Alberta here doing them, the original guy passed away apparently, and this other dude's doing it, but he's wanting 6,500. But I've got insight. I'm learning to do them on our own, because not everybody's got $10,000 in their back pocket just to put away. But your private trusts are something you definitely want to look at. As far as I can gather, you have to create a corporation in a different name. Then you've got to file it somewhere, and then you've got to do another one. There's 2. But this keeps any government, any legal jurisdiction, anybody from, they can't take your stuff. They can't. No judgment or court order can even penetrate these trusts. So they're definitely something to look at, but you need to do this stuff first.
Yes, I have got all the packages ready. I was just waiting for my CUSIP number, but now you're saying, well, I could still put it in my security agreement, and then it's ready to go.
Yeah, the only time I send my CUSIP is if they're gonna question like a government agency or something, because they're gonna come back and say you're crazy. They've told everybody the straw man is nonsense. Well, I got proof it's not. So now they can't come back and say you're crazy.
Would they understand it better if we called it my corporate name rather than straw man? That's the
No, they
same.
know what straw man is. People are just, yeah,
Okay.
they don't know how to think nowadays, and that's our school system. They've taught people not to be able to think.
Sparrow had her hand up for a question. Sparrow, do you have anything you want to ask?
I can't hear you.
Muted.
Sorry. Being that the currency is all just useless pieces of paper, when we ask for, we say the sum of $10 million, Canadian dollars, that's basically $10 million worth of fake paper. So should we not be saying gold or silver or something tangible? Because paper money's paper money, to be willing to give us 10 million.
No, because they don't have, like I asked them for 40 million. They don't have 40 million in gold. Whereas I can go to different exchanges and trade that currency for gold.
Okay,
So as long as they're using currency, that is the legal currency as it stands. So that's what I'm asking for.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Any more questions on the common law copyright, anybody?
Yes, I have a question. Susan, and you, in the oath of commissioners is whom you use now, because they're all important, but this is very important. Should we go through an oath of commissioner, or can we do it with the 2-3 signatures?
No, you can. That's what I told you earlier. You can
yes.
use 2 to 3 signatures.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're not using at all in all of this
No,
paperwork.
but you can change all that. That's what I said. These documents are just templates for you to use.
Mhm,
You can
mhm.
either use them the way they are, or you change them to how you want them.
So when you send this out, or some of the people that you're working with, is there a whole bunch of questions that the different people ask, or they just are overwhelmed with this package? Like, will they say,
Oh.
well, whomever, if you send it to say the Minister of Finance, and they'll say, no, you prove this, do this, do this. Is that the response, or they just ignore it?
I give them a date to send it back. I did get one back,
Oh,
and from the Treasury branch,
oh yes. Mhm.
and they said their legal team had told them they had no mandate to act on that matter, which is totally understandable. The others are just sitting on it. So in actual fact, they had 30 days to respond, so they've accepted what I've sent them.
Now, down the road, can they say, well, we're just inundated with paperwork, it's
They
taking
can
us?
do whatever they want. I'm not going to surmise any of that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Like, I don't try to create problems when I haven't got one.
Mhm.
And, like, to sit there and think what somebody's going to say 10 years down the road, I really don't care, you
Mhm.
know.
Have you sent this package to your local mayor and council and CAO?
Not yet. I don't need to. I only send it to people I need to.
Ah.
Like I said, I sold my house. I'm not hanging
Yes.
on to property that I don't own.
Mhm, mhm,
Because you don't own your house. It don't matter if you've paid for it or not.
mhm,
The World Bank holds securities on absolutely everything.
mhm,
So even if your house is paid for, you don't own it.
mhm. Thank you.
Yeah.
That totally pisses off this grandma, big time, like majorly.
I know.
Have fun,
No,
special.
you work your whole life to pay for something and to find out you still don't own it. That's just like if you paid cash for your car. The cash you used has a lien and security on it from the World Bank. So they can still come in and take my vehicle even though I paid cash for it. So that's why you do all of this and get it back and then get working on a private trust. Then they can't take this shit.
Mm.
So that puts the property, your home or whatever, like my family's had this little cabin here. My grandson wants to be here at some point, and you want to just keep it in the family. So that would just go in there and it would just stay in the family because it's put into the trust.
Yes, he can inherit that trust account. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why once you get everything done, really look into these private trusts like I say, it's pretty deep and I've been trying to study it, but yeah, I get emails every day and I had to shut it down last week. I'm not answering any more emails because I had a stroke a year ago and then I had another episode last week. Cause my phone is just going steady and no, think, like people
Mhm.
need to, I've done the work. Now it's your turn to do some thinking.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
So if you want to pull up the workbook, I'll just show you the PPSA.
Dallas, are you going to pull up the workbook?
Yeah, I'm going on right now. Give me a second.
Oh, I guess it's frozen the screen. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it. Give me 1 second, okay?
Susan, I put my PPSA in about 2 weeks ago, and I listed our house and our condo, which is detailed in our statement of property. And they said they'll respond within 5 days, and they every time I go in, because they didn't in yours. Below your name, your secured name, there was your email, but the new one doesn't have the email. You have to go down to the
Yeah, they
bottom.
keep changing it. Like,
Yeah,
I can't control what the government does with their
yeah.
websites.
So
I-
what I did at the end, I put it's asked for a agent because they wouldn't accept it. So I put myself down as the agent and my email all in upper caps, unfortunately. And so then I just have to wait and see. But they say you can go in and you can print it off from your account. So every day they put to that date saying that they're working on it, work in progress, but it's kind of
Yeah,
like
but
what
didn't
you
I just
said.
mention earlier that
Yes.
the PPSA is starting to fight us?
Yeah.
So you've got to be creative
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
figure it out, like if the worst comes to worst, then like I said, put an ad in the paper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if I want Heinz to do a PPSA as well, but I've done the property, so shall I put our property down with him because we're co-owners, or once is enough?
It's whatever you feel comfortable with,
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I don't do is I don't give legal advice and I will not give financial advice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though I have an accounting degree, I do not give financial advice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I just wanted Heinz to have a PPSA, but we can't think of too much to collateral in.
Yeah, well,
That's,
he doesn't have to. You
Oh.
might have to try putting it in as a business. Like if they reject it, put it in as a business.
mhm, mhm,
And
okay.
if they reject it too much, like one lady, I told her to order her CUSIP number. And then that would prove to them that that is a corporation.
Mhm,
Because they're stupid. They haven't been told.
mhm,
Only the higher ups know the truth.
mhm. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if you want to scroll down a bit. On the workbook, I give a step by step. For the copyright, there's an absolute step by step for every screenshot. What it does. So I went through and screenshot every step from the government site on the copyright. And I explain each screenshot. And I show you, like I filled in John Doe. You click on literary because it is literary, it's not music or anything. Is this work published? Yes. That would be your birth date. The country it was published in, the state. Like if you were born in Alberta or Edmonton, Alberta, you would put public city, Edmonton, province, Alberta. Then you put in there the owner. Now, the one thing with the PPSA is it used to take lowercase letters. It doesn't anymore.
Mhm.
And if you do happen to get it in lowercase, your certificate will come back in uppercase. So behind it, the last name I put signifies lowercase letters. You do that because I'll guarantee it'll come back in uppercase, and that's not what you want. So if you put signifies lowercase letters, that's telling them that you want it in lowercase. Then the author, if your mother is still alive, you can put your mother's name in there. If not, don't put it in, because I played around with it one day just to see, and I put my mom in there, and then I put, yes, she was deceased, and they booted it right out. So then you automatically become the author and the owner. Now, it really doesn't matter on the author if it's uppercase or lowercase, because the author could be the straw man, and it could be the living soul. As long as the owner is the lowercase, the living soul has to be the owner. So you don't need to panic if you mess up in the author. It's not a do or die, as long as the owner is the living woman. Then if it's the same, if the author and the owner are the same, you'll click there, saying that yes. It's quite easy to fill out, actually, very easy to fill out.
Mhm.
Then when you click next, it'll take you to the payment page, and it's $63. It used to be 50. They've upped it $30 because of the carbon tax. Did you appoint an agent for this application? If it's accepting you to put it through as an individual, no. But if you've had to put it through as a business, you'll have to fill yes on the agent, but just use you, the living soul, as the agent,
Mhm.
because it'll ask for the agent's name and address. And this is just a screenshot of your review. So you got John Doe Literary, published in Calgary on that date. It gives you the author. Mine was no agent, but if there was, there'd be their name and address there. And then I confirm the information as entered is correct, confirm and add to cart, and then it'll take you to the payment page. So there's an explanation of the security agreement. Like I say, you want to put absolutely everything in there. The reason I've put PPSA, my secured amount was 10 billion. Because before Fidelity changed it so you couldn't find your QSIP numbers yourself, I had found 3, and those 3 were 9 something billion in total. So I just chose the number 10 billion. You can put in there whatever you want. See, in here I explain what the home hard list does, so
Mhm.
so the PPSA is the only one we're having issues with right now.
Mhm.
I think there's quite a few people putting stuff in and now they're panicking.
Where does that go? The personal property security agreement, the PPSA?
I usually send it if I send it to a government agency or whatever. But if you're sending it to like a credit card company or the bank or anything, that's your discretion if you want to send it or not. Because that is a private agreement between you and the strawman. So it's up to you if you want to do it or not. Usually I find the copyright and the copyright notice are usually sufficient. But if I want to get more detailed with the government, then I send more copies. It's just, yeah, basically your discretion. Because you'll wind up, if you don't send it, you might wind up sending it later on.
Mhm.
And I don't like playing back and forth games. There's the PPSA. I don't use the government site because 2/3 of the time it doesn't work. It's down. You can't download nothing. So if you go to Easy PPSA, this is a super simple site to use. Then when you register an account, it's just your name and your email, and that's it. Click on the province where you were born to where you want to copyright it. Now, you know what you could do. I just thought of that. Even though you were born in Ontario, you could put a PPSA on it on pretty well any other province.
Yes.
If you want to spend the money, you could put it on 3 or 4 different provinces that are accepting them to this point. And then it's still very legal. Lawful. It's legal in their world. So that might be a bit of a solution. And then I think I would still put a notice in the paper.
Mhm.
Just, and keep a copy of that publication with your files. And then you have it. But that could solve a lot of things. It's just, yeah. Go to New Brunswick or somewhere and put a lien on it. Doesn't, because it's the number you're leaning, right? The name. So it doesn't matter if it's from just the province you were born.
Mhm, mhm,
So that could be a solution.
mhm. Yes.
They don't say international as such. There's no.
No, but the next one I'm doing, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I'm gonna go to the World Intellectual Property Office and copyright that Susan Paulette Brierley / maiden name Orange on the World. That takes in Canada. So that's a copyright. And I don't think there's a world lien. Because the UCC doesn't work in Canada, you have to use the PPSA. So yeah, I'd just hit a couple other provinces.
Mhm,
It's worth a shot. At least it's recorded, right?
mhm. Yes, very good. And Susan, when you're waiting for the PPSA and it's got a registration number saying that you have requested it in as an intern, could we use that registration number? And then in a month, 2 months,
Yeah,
5 months? Mhm,
you could. But, your documents are gonna be in Word, so you can go in and change that when you do,
mhm,
you know.
mhm,
I
mhm,
wouldn't waste time and then panic on typing everything. I would just put in. But
mhm,
yes, you could put registration number.
mhm,
Yep.
mhm. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I never thought of that PPSA. Now that's got me fascinated. How come I didn't think of that earlier?
What's that you didn't think of?
Just registered in another province. Go to the Yukon or somewhere and register it. Where they're not getting many of these. They'll approve it.
And now it's only 9 years we can select. I selected 24 years. They kicked it out and they said BC only 9 years.
I know they're doing that in Ontario and it's supposed to be 25, but they won't let you put 25 in. I got 24 for this other lady. It
Mm.
accepted that. Now they're going to 9. So
Mhm,
they want you to do a renewal.
mhm,
So yeah, they're playing games with us. They can see what we're doing and they're panicking now,
mhm.
which is good.
Yeah, good.
I
Glad
like
to hear.
stirring the soup pot.
Dallas, are you going to be making this information available to all of us?
Yeah, 100%. I already emailed it out to you guys today, right? And I felt it was better to have a private meeting, still public, but private, so that we can, it makes it more simpler because the questions we're going to ask helps out others. And as we go through it, we'll be working it as a team, anyways, right from here to Ontario, right? And we'll put the video up, and people will watch the video, become interested, and realize the power they really have and how they've been duped. So such a powerful thing. And right now we have so many men and women looking for solutions, and they're grasping now to realize that everything they thought was real was a lie, right? So now they're looking at this, going, okay, this is an option. And many people are going to. I mean, we have so many people in the last 6 months that have actually stopped protesting and they're starting to organize. So after watching, all the native chiefs of the last few days here, 131 now, 132 bands are starting to say, no more UNDRIP, no more bullshit. It's our land. We want ownership. Where's proof of claim? So the average individual out there is going to be jumping up and down saying, this is great information. The more we talk as a solution, the stronger we'll become, we're going to get.
Well, you know, what really irritated me is, okay, we got Mark Friesen and we got Wayne Peters. And I got into an argument one day on a chat group with them. And I said, why are you guys doing all of this? Why aren't you telling the truth? You know, especially about Canada. And well, only part of it's true. And I said, I don't care if a quarter of it is true. Why are you not putting that out for people to know?
Susan, 6 years ago, I had 5 interviews with Mark Friesen and Wayne Peters. Wayne Peters went across with United Nations. We rolled with Glenn Carrot. And
Yeah.
on the bus, I talked to them all of them, straight out. There's no country. It's a corporation.
And they know it. And
They know it, and they
they're
lie.
not spreading it
They don't. You know why?
because they're making money off their podcasts.
They're Wayne Peters. Like, I have a whole bunch of information on him. I've watched him for years, right? And I'll tell you, he is the most shadiest person I've met in my life.
Oh, I can read people, and I couldn't hold myself. I just
Well,
thought,
he took $10,000 with Carl Fleury from a lady, and then he stole a laptop from Calgary. I went to I came back from Canadian Combat Coalition speech in Ottawa, and I met in Estevan there with a whole bunch of them, and we had a good discussion there. Cal Kennedy and quite a few other ones there wanted him to return that laptop. He had the laptop. Duke Willis was there, a whole bunch of us. And I said, why are you telling people, political parties, and why are you pushing this? Why are you pushing, Wexit? Why are you pushing all this stuff that's always, it has no solution? And Canada's not a country. I was doing it was at a big Rebel News the same way. They won't. They're
oh
fake.
no, well, he's a lawyer, so I mean, honestly,
Well, Evan Levant's a criminal. He's a liar. He's a fraudster, and all he wants is money, money, money.
With Nancy and
yeah, but he's part of a bar. He's a member of the bar association.
He's part of the secret society. How's that word?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, like I mean, I knew that people would have to go through their pain, struggles, and desperation to find the truth, right? And here we are. And the clock struck 12 o'clock, and now the real people that are fighting for their themselves and their families and their loved ones and their future have walked away from I call them controlled op or grifters, where we have to work together and get this information out as much as possible. We have to dominate every YouTube video, every video we put out. It should be solution,
Yeah.
not about the nonsense. So this step 6, the declaration of status.
well, the biggest thing I've found in all my research is from the birth certificate, we knew they were creating the straw man. Okay. They own you. As long as they own you, you have 0 rights. They can throw you in jail. I mean, the slaves, when the Romans had their slaves, if the slave cried, I want more to eat, do you think they got fed? No. So as long as the government, the corporate Canada owns us, it doesn't matter how many miles you march up and down that road, how many letters you write, how many signs you hold, they're not going to listen to you. But if they know they don't own you anymore, now they got to wake up. And that's the only way, in my mind, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to take back ownership of you from the government. The government doesn't control you. Then if we had 10,000 people marching down the road with signs and they were free, the government's going to listen. And the same with your children. You can cry and scream at the school board all you want. The day you registered your child, you signed over legal guardianship to the government. The government pays you the baby bonus as payment for looking after their property. So wake up, copyright your child, take back ownership, and tell the government to get bent. because now I own my child again. But that $300 a month to a lot of people is worth signing over their child, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand. But
Susan, what about adult children? Can you take ownership of your adult children?
if they're, no, not if they're above 18, but if they're mentally disabled or can't look after themselves, yes. of course.
Okay.
But I would talk to your child, like I've got 2 children that know about it. One, he doesn't do anything because of the partner he's with. The other one, she's in denial. My third one, she is totally understands what's happening. And she knows what I'm talking about and she's working on it. So yeah, she copyrighted her name when I did mine in 2013. But she hasn't done anything more. But the main thing is she's copyrighted. So she has ownership of it.
Good.
But for me to copyright my other 2 children, no, it's not really legal.
Okay.
You know, it's not lawful. Because I don't want somebody walking in and copyrighting me. And they can't, because see, another thing, one guy said, well, the government created the straw man. So yes, they have the original copyright on the straw man, but it's a government website. They sold it to me for $50. That's their problem.
Mhm.
So now I own it. You know, and just like Alberta, I had one law student say to me, well, how can you copyright corporate Alberta? You don't know, you didn't get involved in the corporation or anything. And I said, go on to the Securities and Stock Exchange and look it up. I said, all of our income tax is listed as collateral. So I'm part of the corporate Alberta. So yeah, I'll copyright it. Shut him right up. As long as you're part of it. I tried to get corporate Canada, but they wouldn't give it to me. They just
Well, there was a
ignored it.
lot. So there was a lot of questions about when someone says, "Well, how does she copyright Alberta?" And we discussed this last week, and that was a beautiful statement you made. Beautiful statement. You know why? Because you are collateral damage, so you are part of that corporation.
Exactly.
So it's so simple. And if we
There it is right there. Corporate Alberta.
give me a second here.
Wow.
Province of Alberta, and I got the numbers and everything from the Securities Stock Exchange. And it's owned by me.
Susan, you can demand trillions of dollars.
Oh, I'm working on a letter to their lawyers.
Can I ask you, I'm just gonna check the number I have here for Alberta and see if it coincides with your number from the stock exchange. I've got it as CIK 0000
So you-
810961.
Well, we're gonna do one.
Mine is 0000810961.
Yep, okay, same number. Yep.
See it right there.
Yep. I took them down one day and then they took it down off the internet. I couldn't get anything anymore off of the site.
Just go on to the US Securities Stock Exchange.
Yeah, I did.
Province of Alberta, and it's right there.
Yeah, I did. But on the 14th of February, they took it down. I couldn't go there anymore. It wouldn't.
Oh, well, I just printed it off the other day.
Oh,
So
okay. So you got to just check. They take it off one day and not the next. Good
Yeah.
to-
and if you live in Edmonton, there's Edmonton.
Right on.
Wow.
Maybe I'll copyright Williams Lake.
Yeah, have a look.
So
So just
could I,
sit there and punch it in. Pardon me?
could I copyright it too?
Not if I have it now. But I
Right.
went into copyright the Income Tax Act, and you'll never guess who copyrighted it. Is that Morneau, the one that resigned?
Gilmore, no?
Yep, he copyrighted the Income Tax Act a couple years ago.
Really?
So something's up. When you see that, something's coming. So yeah, if you just go in and search it on the copyright, where you copyright, just go into search anything you can think of, any kind of act. Like if you want to copyright an act, go for it. Like Norm Traversy, he copyrighted the Gun Act. So he can actually shut the government down on the Gun Act.
But you gotta remember Norm Travesty works for them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been watching Norm for quite a while. I've done 4 or 5 interviews with Norm. And when he did his big presentation going across the Corporation of Canada with Trump and all that nonsense,
Yeah.
he was controlled off. It didn't happen. And it was just a huge psyop to give people distractions, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, mess.
Yeah. It's hard to say what's going to happen.
Well, at least you're in a good location. I have a friend down there named Cindy. She's one of our team members we work with. She's about our age. She's got a big ranch down there right outside of Wetaskiwin. So there's a lot of people down there. I'll send you a list of a bunch of good people that are working on the same thing we're working on. Like I said, you're not alone, and we appreciate you coming in. And if you have more to add, we're all working for the same direction, right? Truth, and that's
Yeah. I got a phone call from a lady. I haven't answered one way or the other. I'm really thinking about it, and I let my gut think about it. Because she told me she's out of Red Deer, and this is strange because they saw my Life Force Canada video. And she said, would you be interested in doing an interview with a fellow from down east, and it'll be aired on 75 radio stations? And I said, yeah, I got to think about that one. And then she said, Norm Traversy also wants to talk to you. I said, really? Why?
Well, I agree with 100%. Like I said, I've watched all these controlled opposition grifters, and they want to maintain this system. I don't know if they're compromised or what's going on, because to me, myself personally, all I want is my friends and family to have a better life and a future. So it just
Well, all I want is for people to be free.
Yeah.
I'm not getting caught in some freaking battle.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Norm is controlled off, that's his problem, not mine. If he can live with his soul being sold, then go for it. But I won't get dragged into it.
Yeah, I agree.
I have lived 67 years, and not from being stupid. And I look at my youngest brother was learning about this from a renegade lawyer in Ontario in around 2008, 2009. And the lawyer would fly out here and hold classes, and he charged a fair amount for these classes, but he never gave a solution. He didn't want to provide a solution. He wanted people to research, to learn. But he kept throwing out stuff there that they had to dig into and look. Well, he phoned my brother one night, and he said, the Illuminati got a hold of me, and they offered me everything they have, but I have to quit teaching. And Ian said, what'd you tell him? And he said, I told them, no, this is for the people to know. 2 months later, they found him murdered. Then my brother kept pushing and pushing. And he got quite a ways. I'm not sure how far he got. But then he was killed in a motorcycle accident. And the police said it was a lone vehicle accident. And I found out my brother-in-law, who's a retired platoon chief for the Red Deer Fire Department, found out from the RCMP that Ian wasn't alone. So what are the police covering up? So I just kept pushing and digging and digging and digging. And this is for the people. They need to know. And I don't care who's been bought out, who's sold out. That's not my problem. They may try to take me out. Who knows? I don't give a shit. I've lived to 67 years. That's a good age. And if I'm going to help people, then that's all I ask.
Yeah, I agree.
So if somebody is controlled op and they want to interview me, go for it. That doesn't mean I'm controlled op. You know, like it's stupid. I'm not going to shut up because somebody took a payout. They have to deal with the big guy upstairs when they go down. So not my problem.
Right. So Susan, quick question before you have to go. I imagine your time is very valuable. And first of all, I want to commend you on the way and the manner in which you have done all of this work.
Yes.
I think it's exemplary. It is something that I have been looking for personally for a number of years. And here it is. So I want to thank you very much for that. Also, I recognize that age sometimes teaches us a few things. And I'd like to ask you, if you had to do anything different, what would it be?
I would have listened to my grandmother. Oh, she was a smart lady. She told me when I got married, okay, like my kids are everything to me. Okay, I would die in a heartbeat for them. No questions. But she told me when I got married, she said, whatever you do, Sue, don't bring any children into this world the way it is. And then my mom said, don't be selfish. Different. But grandma saw something. She could see the way it was changing and it wasn't good. I think that's the only thing I'd change.
Okay.
I really do. Because now I fear for my kids. I got to watch what I do because I fear for them. Whereas if it was just me, I'd be flying like you wouldn't believe.
Mhm.
My mother was ex-Air Force. My uncles were pilots in the Air Force. My grandfather retired, a major in the Air Force. He fought in the First World War, was taken POW by the Germans for 9 months. Yeah, there's too much fight in our family. I can't not say something.
The human trafficking is off the charts, isn't it? Right from when our children are born.
What was that?
The human trafficking is off the charts, really, right from when our sons and daughters
No,
were
no,
born.
no. Can I interject there, Sparrow? We are the humans being trafficked. We know this. When they're making money, we are all the slave class are the humans.
Oh,
being
no, but
trafficked.
we're talking about the sex traffic. I know some women that have been released and it's not good.
Well,
I
yeah,
would take
yeah,
being
that's-
traded
that's-
on the government more than sex slaves.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nothing more horrific than a little child being sold for sex. No. In my books, no. It doesn't
Susan,
fly.
while I'm here, I just want to thank you on behalf of Constitutional Conventions. You put on a great presentation. I'm not saying we're ending it here unless you've got to go, but we feel very privileged that you came in with us this
Mhm.
morning and gave up your time. And
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
it's been a wonderful presentation. We're all totally grateful, as you can see by the people here, and we hope that this is a long-term relationship here. We'd like you to feel comfortable to come in anytime and share
Well,
your
we do
thoughts,
Zoom slides every
because
day.
we're very honored to have you here. So
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all
I'm just,
I tell her what do Zoom
I'm
chat.
working on some other stuff here. I'm trying to get letters, drafting letters to get do not detain on my driver's license.
Right.
So if I succeed with that one, that's another step for us.
Well, we run a Zoom every night from, it's sort of sketchy hours from 7 o'clock Mountain
No,
Time. is it?
5 Eastern to 10.
5 Eastern to 10, 7 days a week.
It's all by volunteers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we can arrange anything like this during the day if you feel you want to make a presentation, you know, we can get something together short notice as we have today and do this kind of thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you so much. We're very
Yes,
blessed
thank
that you came in today.
You're
Now,
welcome.
you're coming back this evening?
Pardon me?
You're coming back this evening on our evening call tonight?
I can come back.
Yeah.
This evening I'm free, so.
Well, I felt it was good because there's gonna be a lot of people. So, like I said, I wanted to do this, you know, this meeting to get to know each other a little bit better, talk. You know, they've watched your videos, so that's powerful. And tonight, I'll put this video out probably in an hour, and it'll be sent to everybody. So we have a large. Yesterday, 3 more groups joined us yesterday, and I'm tired of this group mentality. We're all the same team. We want a future. Let's fight for our future.
They all need to get together, and that's exactly why I don't belong to just one group. I'm me. I will show up on certain groups.
Yeah.
But I'm a me group. I like me.
Well, no, that's what we teach in our room. So 7 o'clock Alberta time is the best time to pop in. We do get the stragglers coming in at 5 o'clock. You know, who knows, right? Eastern usually, but it depends. And like we have money meetings on the East Coast, but we feel it's very important that when people come to the room, they're talking solution, and why are we here? And the more we allow the speakers to speak, people listen, and when they start learning the language, and they start learning how powerful they are, and they are
Yeah.
powerful, and it's such a beautiful thing. We get controlled op to come in, and we pick them up right away and get rid of them. We don't want them in the room. We're not filling political parties. We're not doing that. We're not protesting. We're not these bullshit nonsense. We're not honking horns. We're not waving flags. We are getting organized to free the people from enslavement. And like,
Yeah, and it's right there for them. They
Yeah.
just have to think.
Yeah.
Just open your mind up. Like, I get frustrated because people won't think.
Yeah.
I'm a thinker.
I know, it drives me nuts too. I go
You know?
black, white, and gray, and it just drives me nuts. Myself personally, I'll sit back and watch a person talk for an hour. If they're saying really good information, then I
Oh,
got.
I know.
He talks
Well,
about.
that's like my cardiologist said to me the other day. He said, "How come your blood pressure gets so high?" And I said, "Because I can't stand stupid people." And he burst out laughing. I said, "Honestly, I work with stupid people all day. I can't do it." And I said, "That's what gets my blood pressure up." Like, yeah, I can't do it. I'll walk away before I do it.
Well, I want to thank you again. I'll be away. Tonight I'm on my 5th presentation with men and women in my community, beginning at the crib. The first, like Dallas said last night, the first imprisonment, putting the kids into the walled-in crib with the bars. And that's where I've started, and I've got people that have come in now. It'll be their 5th time already, and they're already getting the birth certificate, and they're already moving forward because they want to. And so I'm not going past too much further. I want to research, and I'm being mentored by Karen and you and others so that I can then help them, but they've got to get these documents first.
They got to get that copyright first. And then once they've done the copyright notice, and they got to make sure they list their children on their security agreement until they're 18. That is their property. Those children are their property lawfully. They have them, you know, and then send every school division and the governments those copies.
Yeah.
Lay out what they are allowed to teach the children, and what they are not allowed to teach those children. Take back control,
Yep, yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's what they
I'm
gotta
new to
do.
this. Everybody's been doing it for, some time, and I just discovered this with homeschooling, that Canada was in the country, and now all that I've done since then has just been in the last 6 months, because I want to learn, and my mind is opened up,
Yeah. No, I homeschooled. Well, I worked, like I dispatched in the oil field, so I was putting in horrendous hours and I was a single parent. I signed them up with Argyle Learn Center in Edmonton, and they homeschooled for a few years because my oldest daughter had a teacher that was touchy-feely. And from age of 12, she never went back to school. She homeschooled. And she got her massage degree. She went to college. Yes, she got that. But as for school, no, she would have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
She wasn't going through that again. So
Yeah,
I believe in homeschooling, and they all had honors, like they were smart.
yeah. I took my kids out of school. I'm Ron, by the way, Susan.
Hi.
Hi. I took them out of school in grade 8. James was, and Amanda was in grade 6, I think. And me and the wife homeschooled them. They
Yeah.
both graduated. It was easy.
No, I just laid out a bunch of rules. Okay, I'm at the office. As soon as you're done your studies, you get a hold of me.
Yeah.
If you got time to go to the park, go ahead. Now you can't trust anybody to go to the park.
Yeah.
But, they were honor students. They did
Yeah.
excellent. Then when my youngest wanted to go back to public school just for the sports,
Yeah.
her marks dropped. She tanked it. Like,
Yeah.
just the distractions and the bullshit.
Yeah. And the homeschooling, well, I told them both. I said, well, you guys know that 3.5 hours you can have all your shit done per day, so you get the whole app. They love
Yeah,
it.
exactly. They were done by noon.
Yeah, so are my kids.
They had to be up and signed in on their computers by 8, and they were done by noon.
Yeah.
And then I would come home and take them to figure skating, or if another parent would pick them up and they'd go do their figure skating and their hockey, and
Yeah.
we made it work.
Yeah. And thanks for coming in and all the information. That's very, very helpful stuff.
Yeah, well, it's all there, and I sent Dallas the templates so he can fire them out from there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. Like I said, we've worked hard for years educating people, and the power you put into this is very important. And right now, many families are losing their homes. They're being bankrupted and they're being destroyed. And nobody right now, we should all come together and build this as a huge truth team. That's it.
Yeah.
And who speaks truth, we move forward. And like I see it now coming. I mean, I watched the Chiefs yesterday, and they phoned the RCMP on them, and the RCMP did nothing. You know why? Because the RCMP.
Well, yeah, they're a crown corporation.
But they're starting to listen. Lots of them
Yeah.
are starting to listen. They're starting to listen. They realize what they've done. And I talked to 3 of them. They said the same thing. What are we going to do? You're going to walk away.
You turn into the people police.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much to get a bunch of ex-RCMP to perform a people police.
Yeah.
Be there for us, and their wages will be covered.
That was what they were
It
supposed to.
doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out.
Yeah.
And people, I did at my last presentation at Duffield there. One lady asked me what I thought of UNDRIP, and I said, UNDRIP is to take the land to give to the natives, then they're going to prove the natives unfit and take the land from them.
Yeah.
I said, it's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about it,
I heard somebody say already that, oh, don't worry about giving your land to the corporation. They'll give it back.
No, they won't.
Right, they will.
Well, last week I did a presentation down in Barhead, right?
Yeah.
And at the very end, I talked about UNDRIP, because I've studied UNDRIP pretty good for many years, right? And way back to the 50s, right? and their documentation. I did the presentation, and a girl got up and she talked about UNDRIP for like 4 or 5 minutes, eh? And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna throw a little bit more in there, get the rabbit hole going a little further, whatever he means. And it was just priceless. And there was a guy there from Rebel News. He come over and talked to me, and he says, I'm going to publish this. There's a paper guy there. He's going to publish it, the website and everything that. And the guy from Rebel News didn't post anything.
No,
Yeah.
There you go. It's like
I knew Ezra was controlled op. Like as soon as he opens his mouth, and the minute he says he's a member of the bar, right there, you're done.
Yeah.
You're toast.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk to you.
that's what we're up against, right? Because those who deny the truth aren't really working for the people, and they're just
Yeah.
lying. That's the bottom line. And it's such a beautiful thing that there's so. You know what I like about the best thing about this? We've all been saying the same thing together for years. We just weren't connecting.
Yeah.
So Susan, you have a bunch of people that love you, and Errol and Karen, everybody in this room.
Yeah.
Even PJ's coming in from Ontario. We are building a massive team of truth, and we have a lot of people now questioning how they were deceived, and now they're working in a direction of truth, and that's the bottom line. And so it's beautiful. Like I said, somebody asked me many years ago, they said, why do you have that room open every day for 7 days a week? Because I said, eventually the people would come. If we build it, they'll come and they'll learn, and they'll bring ideas in, because each one of us has we're powerful.
Well, a lot of things I didn't connect. Like I knew you guys were there, but every spare minute I have, if I'm not working, I'm working on documents.
Yeah.
So it's either I'm working or I've spent the last 15 years in front of a computer researching.
I got fingernails. I never had fingernails. And last time was when my daughter was born 36 years ago. And I went, what the hell? So I cut them all off yesterday. I went, this is ridiculous.
I
Because
know.
I've been doing documents and sharing.
Yeah, I'm just researching, steady, writing emails. Like when I read Walter Clune's letter saying Canada didn't confederate, I sat on that for quite a few years. Then I thought, so I filed a Freedom of Information requesting a signed Article of Confederation. It took them 3-4 months. I emailed them a couple times. Have you found anything? Have you found anything? Finally, I got an email back saying, we have searched and we cannot find what you're looking for. I'm going, really? So without a signature and a document, that makes everything void.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I've got that with Walter Kuhn's letter. I've got verification. And that's the kind of research I've been doing. Not just
I went
somebody's word.
to Toronto during the G20 meetings, right? And I went to Alexander Lyon Mackenzie's museum, and I got the letters of the patent that he created.
Yeah.
And I brought those back. That was back in 2010. And I brought them back to Dennis Shaw and Terry Hand and a whole bunch of us, right? And I said, look at this. And they said, how'd you get this? I said, I went right in there and got them. So you gotta get them. And I spent 10 days there going through the entire museum and asking lots of questions. I told them that I was doing a research project, right? Back then I had short hair, I was clean cut.
Yeah.
Hippie like I am now, right? Right. But
I wouldn't let you near them today.
yeah. I get some recourse sometimes about but I look at it like this. I'm here to save my grandchildren, and I'm here to save my friends' grandchildren, and that's what I want. So I'm not here to play games. I lived a long, good life. It's been a horrendous. I started doing this back in the 1970s, right?
Yeah.
I was in Nanaimo when I got drafted. So I met Bill Abram. He was teaching at NDSS at the time. I met Dennis Shaw. He's Canadian Forces. And we were all talking about this stuff. And then when I saw the deal, what Trudeau did in 1979 or 1974, 1980, the Depression, it really woke me up to see what was conspiring against the people. And I went around talking to them. You're losing your houses. Are you, don't you know what happened? No, I don't. Well, why don't you question it? Why is the bank stealing your home? How come the interest rates went from 0% to 21.6%?
Yeah, 18, I was.
Well, when my ex and I had our trucking company, we had 17% on our overdraft.
Yeah.
And people are crying right now at 9%. And I'm going, really?
Oh, I struggled.
You should have tried to operate a business back then.
Yep, I
Yeah.
struggled. And I watched a lot of my friends lose their houses. They lost their cars. They just handed their keys over. I said, don't walk away. Question everything.
Yeah,
I'm
but
questioning everything.
they've taken the fight out of everybody.
Oh, that's right.
People
You know what?
don't know how to fight.
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
people look at me like, oh my God, Sue. I said, yeah, I got a trucker mouth. I say what I think. I'm not politically correct. That's me. I love it. I said,
Well-
if you don't like it, go away.
Old Edward told me, Edward Bearsoff on the Zooms, he emailed me privately and he says, Sparrow, you should watch your language just a little bit, he says, because you're not in the body shop anymore.
No. No. If you can't handle my slang, don't hang around me. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the way I am.
Once in a while, I swear.
Once in a while. That's an understatement.
Oh, I have to watch myself because, yeah, I let the F-bomb fly and all
Well,
that.
some days
So
you,
I gotta run. I got a meeting tonight and so I gotta get prepared and get myself organized. I wanna go over I don't have running water, so I wanna go over and have a shower, my neighbors.
Yeah,
So thank you so much. It's been an honor. I hope to see you again. See you, Stinky, and the old guy over there. And
Be cool.
See
Take
ya.
care.
I think Wanda had a question. Wanda, you still there?
Sorry, I got sidetracked here. Can you hear me? I'll put my camera back on. I forgot what it was. I was just going back to what you said about homeschool
Your camera's not on.
and that at this point in time, it's really the grandmothers that are going to be the best interests of the child in homeschooling, because often our children have grown up with all this woke culture and that kind of thing. And we sort of have to go back to fundamentals of what our education should look like, you know, without the gay straight alliance and that kind of thing. I'm getting feedback. I think.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the grandmothers will wind up teaching. But I
Yeah.
mean, if they're not doing anything else, why not?
Yeah, and
wanna
what I
babysit
try
the
to
kids,
impress,
so-
you know, through Facebook and that kind of thing about, you know, because so many people are afraid that they can't teach their children without realizing you were their child's first teacher. You taught them
Yeah.
to walk and talk and all of that, and how important it is to continue in that. And I didn't homeschool. I won't say formally, but I homeschooled at home, you know, and any opportunity I had. I had a child that was very dyslexic, and that child read the first Harry Potter book in grade 1 every night. I taught them piano, even though I'm tone deaf and can't read music, but I made flashcards. Both of them my daughter got through grade 10 piano. My son did his ARCT piano. And just because you're not a formal teacher doesn't mean you don't have the best intentions for your child and the best understanding of how that child learns. So you have to break that down. If they have issues, you work on their strengths and you work on their weaknesses. And no teacher is going to devote the time and patience that a parent is going to be able to provide.
No, but most of everything that they're teaching in school now isn't the truth anyway.
That's
So
absolutely
you have to
right.
totally rewrite the history class because that's all garbage.
That's
The only
absolutely
thing that
right.
is going to be correct is English, math,
Sciences
science
sometimes.
is really iffy,
Mhm.
you know,
So
like honestly.
according to America's most respected educator, John Taylor Gatto, he said that a child requires 500 hours of learning to read, write, and mathematic. And from there on, you let the child explore their own interests, via, if there is such a thing as a public library anymore, let that child explore, and that a child, and he said, no child should be left in childhood any longer. Like the whole idea is getting them to grow up and take responsibility for themselves. So this suspended childhood until, they say adolescence now goes on until they're 25. Yeah, he said a childhood should include 100 apprenticeships, so that they can explore where their interests lie, where their strengths lie. Are they mechanical, or are they electrical, are they, that sort of thing. And this is the way it was. Public education is very new. And in Europe, my father-in-law was a blacksmith's apprentice at the age of 8. That's when they started. And so letting the child explore nature, letting the child explore being with people of different age groups. Like, this was one of his criticisms of public education, is you're put in a classroom of your peers and you're all on the same level. So you're not getting that influence of your elders and who have a lifetime of experience to relate to you. And you're put in a classroom of your peers, and it keeps you on this level where nobody rises above and that kind of thing. Based
Yeah,
on,
I don't agree with any of this classroom stuff.
no.
My son was
absolutely not.
8 years old and he was out on an Esso lease running a picker truck, loading
Yeah.
coal.
Yeah, I have a
It was
friend the
done
same thing.
safely, but the kid knew how to do things. I never held my kids back. I warned them of the safety. Safety was always number one.
Absolutely.
You tell them, but I didn't cushion them. I let them explore. We'd go to the mountains camping with our packer tents and the pack horses and everything. My kids were 4 years old and riding their own horse out there.
Yeah.
They learned how to shoot rifles. They learned how to archery. Like, I'm not into this wussy stuff.
No,
They need to know how to defend themselves.
absolutely. Number
And
one.
everyone, my son knows how to sew, but he's one of the best welders in Canada. My daughters know how to do men's jobs, as they classify them. They can haul hay, they can toss hay, they can feed the horses, they can ride the horses. They know how to grow a garden. They know how to do everything. Like, they know how to chop wood. They know how to do, like, just because there's an axe in the wood pile doesn't mean I'm not going to let them go out there because I might chop their leg off. Like, give me a break. The parents need to step in and say, this is the safety of this. This is how you deal with this.
Yeah.
I was raised around guns. My mom was an awesome marksman. She was a headshot every time. But we were taught safety. We were never isolated from them. And that's where everything is. Oh, don't let your kid there. Don't let your kid there. Don't let them know this. No, they need to know life. This is life.
Yeah, I was a city slicker, but I had the same sort of mentality in the city realm. Like, at certain stages, I would say, you're 8 years old now. I think you can take a city bus downtown and go take an art class and get yourself back safely. But
But nowadays, I wouldn't do that because there's too many idiots out there.
Yeah.
would hurt your
Well, there's
child.
always been idiots, and there's always been
And it's worse. It's worse now. And the child trafficking, like you said, is there. They're going to snatch that kid in a heartbeat and you'd never see it again.
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately,
right
it's
here in
all being-
Wetaskiwin alone, the number one, there's two. Number one is drugs, and not far behind it is sex trafficking and organ.
and it is
Harvesting.
all subsidized and promoted by the government. This
Well,
was
to a degree, but we got four of the
Oh,
most
no, to
dangerous
a
gangs
major
in
degree.
Wetaskiwin. No, but we've got four of the most dangerous gangs in Wetaskiwin allowing to do this.
And are they migrants?
Are they? No, they are
Okay,
locals.
so here we've got in Edmonton, we have Somalian gangs, and the same in Winnipeg, and they've attacked young women at we had Ed in the other night talking about they've attacked young women getting off a shift in the middle of the afternoon with machetes. The one woman, they cut her fingers off with a machete in broad
Well,
daylight.
in Fort Mac, they've got a dumping ground for the women they rape and murder. And there's
Yeah.
quite a few people, my son knows where it's at. But yeah, it's all over. But these here are locals. And it's
Yeah,
bad, really bad. The police even
what we're
admitted to
going
my
through
daughter
is
that
exactly
have
what they
lost
did
control.
before they made porn accessible on the internet, very accessible to the point where now 8-year-old boys have access to it on the computer. There's a well-known sex, I don't know what you would call it. He goes into the prisons and deals with these men in the prisons. And he said there's no cure for a pedophile, absolutely no cure. There's, there's the obvious
Oh
cure.
yeah, there is. It's just
Um,
they frown upon it.
Yeah, but it's being promoted. It's very accessible to the point where these 8-year-old boys are now raping their younger siblings in the family. So it's starting right in the family. Older children preying on
Oh, I
younger.
know, but we got bigger issues than that. Like it's
Well, I'm just saying it's so endemic in our culture now. Those 8-year-old
Mhm.
boys are going to grow up to be men. It's so pervasive and
well, I
endemic.
know it's because they're allowed to do it. I'm sorry. There's nothing like going behind the barn or I'm going to be graphic, a bullet to the head. I don't agree with this. There's no rehabilitating them, so why are they allowed to roam?
Yeah, and
Or
at one time, the prison
find an island
population,
for them and put them on an island.
at one time, the prison population had a vigilante justice system of their own in the prisons. And that's why pedophiles had to be protected in the prisons because they would get taken out by the general population. But
Well,
now
they
it is
still
so
are.
endemic in the prison population that they're all that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this problem is, and one of the reasons why I'm saying is that it's got to be grandparents trying to bring a moral culture back because the kids that are my children's generation in their 30s and 40s that are having children, they think that porn is acceptable for their children. My girlfriend who teaches at a First Nation school had a 30-year-old woman who's a teacher who the older teachers were talking about how bad the porn situation is. And this younger teacher who was a female in her 30s said, was aghast. And she said, you're not going to take our porn away from us, are you? It's that's a kind of language.
Okay, my question is where are the parents? Are they just relying on the school system to teach their children? Or are they
Well,
coming into
in
play?
kindergarten,
I don't know. I can't agree with that at all. Because the
no,
parents are
yeah,
too
but I'm
busy
saying
working and
the
not
schools are
paying
teaching
attention.
that. The elementary school system is teaching that. Grade
Okay,
one,
well then step
grade
in.
content. They put
Parents
a
aren't stepping in. That is
well,
the whole thing.
exactly. But part of that is because it's being phased in. So in middle school, the schools had gay straight alliances. In grade 6 in
Well,
Ontario.
then pull your kids out. I'm not gonna sit there and defend the school or anything. It still starts at home.
Right.
Where
But
are the
where do you
parents? The parents are too busy sitting in the bar, watching the hockey
Mhm.
game, or going out for dinner and leaving the kids in babysitters.
I
I'm
totally agree
sorry.
with you.
I can't
I
agree with any of that. I can't.
totally agree with you, but these are parents that they've been exposed to this grade 6, 7, and 8 back in the 90s, and now they're parents. And so there's a much more liberal, very, I say they're liberal to the point where their brains have fallen out of their heads. And, I lived in my son's condo during the summer, doing decorating and repair and that kind of thing. And it was right by Edmonton's theater district, and this is where they had the Gay Straight Alliance. And it was parents bringing their young children to, or their gay pride parade, children being brought to the gay pride parade. Hundreds and thousands of them out there dressed in little fairy costumes or mermaid costumes or unicorn costumes and that kind of thing. This is our culture that we're dealing with. This is the way society has gone.
It's their culture, not mine.
Well, yeah, I totally.
We all gotta mend from heal ourselves. I can't worry about what a bunch of parrots in Edmonton are doing because I can't control it. I honestly can't.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying
I
Edmonton
can't,
is
and I'm not
reflective of all
gonna
of our
have a heart
country.
attack over worrying about it. Like, I can't control it. I know what's going on. I work on my problems, but I can't control what other parents have raised their children like.
No,
I can't.
no, absolutely not.
I
No,
can't.
no.
And nobody can take on that task. Because there is no one solution. The one solution we need is to get rid of corporate Canada
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and start from a bunch of basic people to run this country.
Absolutely. From the ground up. We've
Yeah.
got to tear down the
We
system.
can't fight it from the bottom up.
No,
We gotta fight it. Like, that is the biggest solution. And once everybody realizes how they have been incorporated and controlled by the government, we can break the World Bank because all of their money, Rockefeller, all of them are making their billions off of our trust accounts. They're not making it by hard work. They're not making it by their corporations they own. They're making it from incorporating us. Now, if everybody smartens up and realizes this, we can break the World Bank. We can break the Rockefellers. We can break Warren Buffett. We can break all of those guys. Because
Bill
that's
Gates,
what they're getting their
yeah,
money
because
from.
they're operating in a fraud.
Every time you die, okay, you think all these mass murders that they've done over the last few years, all those people have trust accounts through the SEC, okay, traded on the stock market. Now, when that person dies, that trust is cashed in or it can be continued into the trading market. Now, if I died tomorrow and they decided to cash it in, they would get $907 million, which I checked the other day. It's in the last year, it's gone up to $925 million. They get that when I die. So let's bump off, 14 million worldwide from the COVID vax.
Yeah.
Say there's 900 million on every one of them. That's a pretty good chunk of change.
Wow.
So why do you think they're murdering us all? It's not just because we're overpopulated, it's because they need the cash.
Oh, it's not that. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's break the World Bank.
Yeah.
And free ourselves in the process. That's all you are, is collateral money to them.
Absolutely.
So
How many people
They don't
have
get-
been successful in taking on their own bank and becoming their own bank, Susan?
I don't know if it's that easy in Canada, but I know it was about 10 years ago. My daughter was talking to a guy that she was a waitress at Showgirls in Edmonton. And this businessman used to come in and they got chatting one day about, she was talking about what I had been researching and stuff. He said, yes, my partner and I have accessed our trust accounts. And he said his partner was in the process of opening up his own bank in the US. It was worth over $100 million was his portion.
Wow. We saw a movie a while ago called Dave's Bank about a guy in England that created his own bank to help people mortgage their homes and that were slipping through the cracks during a recession or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think in Canada, it's harder to open up private
I
banks.
think so.
In
Yeah.
the US it is, but you get the natives, if they would get their access to their stuff, they're totally separate in those areas. And I
Yeah.
think they could open up banks.
Yeah. Well, we'll pass that on to Chief
I
Demby,
think they
William
could.
Demby.
I really think they could.
Yeah.
But they have to, the whole thing is getting access to the funds is finding the right department.
Yeah.
Because the transportation department looks after a lot of our QSIP numbers. But so does Vital Statistics, because they sent our information to Standards and Poor's, which created the QSIP numbers. So there is a lot of divisions, and of course I have nobody to ask. I've been hitting and sending off stuff to each department, waiting for their reply. But yes, it's interesting. They've got it intertwined there, but they all know when I send in my documents that I'm hitting an area they don't want to discuss.
Yeah, credit unions. I wonder if that would be any different. We know of a fellow who's set up the Bow Valley Credit Union or something like that.
Yeah, well, their money is backed by gold and silver. That's what's so
Oh.
different. And also the CEO of Bow Valley Credit Union said they weren't going to go digital if everybody else did. So a lot of people are switching over to them because they are backed by gold and silver.
Interesting to know.
Yeah.
And perhaps we should move some investments here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
So
But,
anyways,
yeah, we could go on all day.
Wanda,
And
Peggy had a question. Peggy still here? She had her hand up. I saw it. Peggy?
yes, Karen.
Susan, while you were talking and Wanda were talking, I quickly went into PSA registration in Yukon. Very simple. You can register for 24 years. I put everything in. It just asks for the debtor, which is your corporate name. Simple secured party. Terra 2 signifies lowercase. And then it says option of a vehicle, and I just put in general collateral, what you had mentioned, and then that's it. But the only thing is I don't see any place to put your email address. But my question, Susan, is the land description of our condo and our house. Maybe if I remove, I've got it in the secure agreement. So maybe if I just remove that from the PPSA, then it's less information for them to deal with. What do you think?
Yeah. Security, put in the security agreement number and
Which is what I did. And the thing is, what they said when I did the BC one is that it'll take longer because there was property involved. So if I didn't put my two,
yeah, because they're probably doing a property search and everything else on that.
yeah. So
As to whether they'll let you do the lien.
yeah, so maybe this makes it more simple. Just put all property as per security agreement, financial accounts, investments, etc., and then extra info secured amount of 6 billion. and no fixed date. Keep it simple and maybe it'll go
It
through.
has to be kept simple, because if you feed the government too much,
Yeah.
they run with it. Like I tried it on one and I listed all of my copyrights and they come back rejected
Yeah.
because they searched the copyrights and they said I needed permission from the Alberta government.
Mhm.
And I said, no, I don't. I own them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why do I need permission from them?
Yeah. So basically the security agreement is very powerful and maybe that's all you need to put in and go with that.
Yeah, just
And
try it.
and you call.
All they'll do
Yeah.
is reject it and refund you the money.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think maybe if I put it in today, like I put the other one in last week, or should I wait till they reject me or whatever?
No, it doesn't hurt. Each province is separate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you could have two.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try it on a couple of them and just see what they come back as.
But you're not going to put too much detail in it, just
Oh, I never put too many details.
yeah.
Why do you think I only put the security agreement in the reference number? I didn't even put it in the collateral.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Put it in the reference number, and then the whole PPSA is referred to with the SA. I'm not listing it in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I
And
put it in as,
obviously, they're too naive to see that my security agreement is the reference number.
Mhm. Okay. So maybe I will just remove that as
Remove
well.
all the property, yeah.
Pardon me?
Remove the property and just put your vehicle there.
Okay. And then, and also in the collateral, remove the security agreement number.
Yeah.
No, but keep that in the collateral as well? Or just leave it above in the
Well,
reference?
they don't know what's in your security agreement unless you sent it to them.
No, no.
So
No.
they don't even know that's a security agreement because you've got SA, not security agreement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't even put that in there.
You wouldn't put what in there? Say that for the general.
Don't type out security agreement. Just type the security agreement number.
As property as per the number.
Yeah.
Okay, as per the number. Okay, as per
Well,
that.
don't even have to put the number, just put as per SPO dash 110724 dash SA. Just put
Mhm.
that in there.
Yeah, all property as per that
Don't
number.
know, because you're using the word property.
Okay. Oh, okay.
As per, two
That's
words,
it. Okay,
as
as
per.
per. And then the financial accounts, investments, bonds, and then extra info, security amount of, I dropped mine from your 10 to my 6 billion Canadian.
Yeah.
No fixed date of maturity. And of course, the reference number is your KI, okay, done. I'm gonna send that in and see what happens.
Yeah, I would do that.
But the thing is, Susan, they didn't ask for our email. They didn't even ask for an agent. So
No, but you've already got a registered account with the PPSA, right? And it's got your email.
I see.
Like to get onto the PPSA, you
Yeah,
had to log in, there's an email, right?
Actually, in mine, there isn't. It's just my
So you
name. And it's got email and there's nothing beside the.
Yeah, but when you signed up, there was an email, right?
No, there wasn't.
No?
No.
Unless they're
even-
mailing them. I don't know what they're, well, I think what you do is you go back onto your site there. They've got to have some way of figuring out yours to mine.
Yeah,
And up in the top corner, it'll say whether it was approved or not. Top
Yeah.
left-hand corner.
mm-hmm.
So you click on it and print it off.
Okay. I will do that. Wonderful.
So you just check,
Mm-hmm,
you know, say in 3, 4, or 5 days.
mm-hmm.
And if it's up in the top hand corner, you can click on it and it'll open it up and then just print it off.
Excellent. Good. Okay, Susan, thank you very much for taking
You're
all
welcome.
of this time. You are a precious, precious soul. And I hope you get better soon. Over this little setback, health setback. And Susan, you're in my prayers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
I
I
Peggy,
got my new little device.
Peggy,
Oh, it is.
It's a wave. It's a mini energy wave bed that I pack with me,
Oh, really?
and it resets my energy levels in my body to the right frequency.
oh, cool.
Pretty cool. I've been waiting 7 months for it.
Excellent. Excellent.
You go on to quantum healing. This was $600.
You know what?
From the States?
Yeah.
Quantum healing. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've noticed the difference in the first few days of using it.
Yeah, because actually, what is kind of weird is my stroke caused peripheral blindness, okay, on this eye. And I've noticed since I've been wearing my device, I've got a little more light coming through.
Good.
Good, good.
So maybe I will get even part of that eyesight back would be nice.
Wonderful. Well, you do so much on the computer. You'll maybe have to do not so much work on the computer. Limit it
Yeah,
to
but
what-
I can't do anything without working on the computer, and I'm not going back to the old typewriter, sorry.
well, limit it to just 20 hours a day.
24.
Susan, do you wear any corrective eyewear at all?
No.
No. One of the things that I would suggest is blue light is a real problem for all of us because we're
Yeah, I need to
Mark-
get a screen
Oh,
for my computer.
so my suggestion is if you don't get a screen, you can go into a store and buy a brown tinted sunglass. And that's what I wear to get rid of the blue light.
Yeah,
And they help immensely. So it's just a brown tinted pair of sunglasses.
yeah, I've heard of the blue light glasses. And I should get something because there's at times I've got 3 laptops open on my desk.
Yeah.
With different stuff.
Light is very hard on all of us.
But this little puppy hopefully will work.
Karen, I see you have them. That's
Yes.
very good.
Just a clip on.
Yeah,
Just a clip
Wonderful.
on.
there, we can hear you now.
Get 2 accounts.
Okay. And I didn't have a comment. I just wanted to let you know that I was listening because I'm working on a document. So I was listening. So I just wanted to let you know I was here listening. I didn't have a question. Thank you so much, though. Oh, my goodness. And to see Karen again. And, you know, I love listening to Wanda, too. Hey, Wanda. I caught a little bit of Sparrow before she left. But thanks again, everybody. I'm listening.
Okay. We can let Susan go then after quite a lengthy period of time here. You have a great day. And
Well, thank you very much. It's a great day. And tonight, hey, 7 o'clock Alberta time is the time to come in. 7:50. Moz is going to be in tonight. He's going to be doing a presentation. You're going to love Moz. And Claudio did a great presentation yesterday, and it woke up a lot of people. And a lot of people are watching, and a lot of people are listening now. So it's beautiful. And like I said, I'll have the video cut today and up. And thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll
Appreciate
be
it.
looking forward to seeing you tonight.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Good.
I'm not
Thank
even
you very
starting my vehicle.
Thank you so much, Susan.
You're
It's greatly
welcome.
appreciated.